4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9.
All right, we are back, and we are back with a brand new Astro weather intro. How'd you guys like that? I need for the outro as well. I have an outro. I got an inner and an outer, an intro and an outro. Let me get my outro lined up. Where is it? It's around you. Sorry, go. There's the outro. So, not yet. No siree, Bob. All right, here we go. Let's get into comment land. See everybody's doing. One Bill Smith. That was from 10:20 or 10:02 last night. DJ MC, what's going on, Michael? We got the Toronto Casper in the house. California Contrarian. Hola. Esperanza Venstero. Hola. There's our guy, the new Next Pod. Happy Thursday. Right back at you. There's Darley. There's Beth Mary. Misbehaving too. Big Dave Sullivan. Janine, PMSO. Morning. Or Grand Risings, as we say out here in politically correct meta language land. Debisu in the house. What's going on? Julian Ross. Silver Surfer, yeah. We got a little flying fish. I had a hard time with AI last night. It just wasn't doing what I wanted it to do. Sometimes AI is like that. Jam Chloe, can't wait for tomorrow. Morning at this time. All right. Let's see. Georgia Ruth. Hi, Georgia Ruth. Did someone beat you out of V? Yes, they did. Bill Smith did. The lovely and talented one on her way. Saving Austin one tooth at a time. Knight of Cups. All Pisces season is finally here. Who's ready for the cookery to start? What's the cookery? You're having a beach bake-out? I've always wanted to go to a beach bake-out. I've always wanted to go to a clam bake. A good old clam bake on Martha's Vineyard with some big clams and lobster and lots of beer and wine and French bread and merriment. Has anybody ever been to a clam bake before? I've never been to a clam bake. I've had lots of clams, which I do enjoy. I used to get those big bowls of steamed clams, right? With butter. You open them up, eat those little clams. Those were pretty good. Jim McCarthy loves thumbnail. It's all about simplicity. Sometimes simplicity is the best thing. We got our guy. It's Thor's Day. We got Steve, Thor by the door. What's going on, brother? That's right. Zareth Eternal. Oh, look at that. Prince Andrew arrested. And there's nothing in the Epstein files. Just remember that. There was nothing there. Nobody's done anything wrong. Nobody's done a damn thing wrong. Perspective Eyes. What's going on, Perspective Eyes? Good day. Love the intro. I'm glad. It was time for a new intro. Hello, Diane from New York. Aloha, aloha. My account, 68. Love it. Robert, no Sri Bob brings back my mother's admonitions. Oh, yeah. No Sri Bob. Oh, today is Prince Andrew. He's getting, and it is 66. So Prince Andrew is getting arrested on his 66th birthday. How symbolic is that? That's an interesting effect, huh? I know why that is. Because it's a green screen. It's like now my cup has a cool design on it. The coffee is black like my mood. 15 minutes backdrop shows on the face. I know. Yeah. It's because I have a green screen command on. But it's kind of cool, don't you think, KK? Moira from NYC. Always good to see her. I've been on this globe for 51 rotatables on Saturday. But clam bakes are you been to a clam bake? I'm jealous. Can somebody please invite me to a clam bake? I'm ready for a clam bake. It doesn't have to be in the near future. It could be over the summer, right? But I want to go to a clam bake this year. Maybe we could all have a clam bake together. I wouldn't know the first thing about baking clams though. So some of you would have to do that because I don't want to fuck it up. Clams are they're kind of you overcook them, it's not good. Steamed mussels, fried clams, lobster for sure. Now you're starting to be hungry. Well, happy solar return. Knight of Cups. Let's see who else. Pixie about town. What's up, Pixie about town? The buckets of steamed clams at 2 a.m. That sounds lovely. French bread. You got to have that French bread. A good French bread to soak up the clam juice. Let's see. I feel like this is a rest for his show. Could be. Yeah. But not for trafficking, just trading state secrets. One's villainy catches up with them. Yeah, and they eat their own. Clam bakes are really, really fun. See, some of you have been to clam bakes. I'm a little jealous. Lobster is much better. Can we have both? Can we live in a world where there is a clam bake and lobster? My Jupiter and Sag in the first house wants to know. October oyster roasts are big in the Southeast. Okay. I'd be into an oyster roast. Let's see. We've got Catalina Native. Skipped my comment. Where were you, Catalina Native? Let me see. Let me go back. I don't want to do that. Where's Catalina Native? Where's Catalina Native? Catalina Native, I didn't see your comment. Sometimes they don't come through. This is the first comment I am seeing of yours. The very first one. And I've just gone through them. Let's see. Where's Catalina Native? Put it back up there again. Let's see. Who else do we have here? I like my coffee like women, strong and black. All right. I got one sip left. I do like a good cup of black coffee. If the coffee's good, man, I'll take it black. You're making me miss the East Coast. My big bro had a clam bake after his wedding. Fun. I want to go to a clam bake. Charlie, what's happening? Tammy Lynn. Hi, Tammy Lynn. Hanging laundry. What do you guys think of that new intro, huh? Pretty cool, right? I got tired of the old one. I've been looking at that thing for, we've been doing this now for almost 3 years. It's wild how fast time goes by, huh? Matt and oysters, that's for you, Dave. That's for you. I mean, I tried just about anything once, but that's for you. The new intro, I think, is really good. And even Jasper's on the new intro. That's right. Maybe we should have a little Jasper sighting. Here he is. The astrological cat. Looking fit. Jasper will be 16 years old in May. Mr. Taurus the cat, 16 years old in May. Blunt here. Jen says, my family clam bakes in New England have lobster clams and their mussels. I don't eat any of it. But I have clam bake like 4 times a summer. All right. I'm a projector. I need an invitation. I need an invitation for a clam bake. I want to do a clam bake this summer. I want 2026 to be the year of the clam bake. My cat is Jasper too, and he's 16 months old. That must be cute. It must be cute. Jim McCarthy, I reposted the comment. All right, what was that? What was that comment? Let me see. Yeah, you got me. Now you got me curious. Cat, what is that? Is that a check mark? Or is that a sideways smile? I'm not quite sure what that is. I might have to call in the secret decoders. I saw that. Perhaps elaborate. Are we driving to New York this September? He's part real life bobcat. Oh my gosh, that's an exotic cat. Are there wannabe Astro weathers out there now? Like you is a real cat man. Oh, we got the other cat here. We got the outside cat. He's back. The outside cat is back. Hey, buddy. He's looking for, where's Peachy? She's missing. He's even up. He's looking for Peachy. Jasper, look, there's the outside cat. He's right there. Jasper, give a fuck. The Peachy, you're missing your buddy. You're missing your outdoor cat. Know about flying fish. About the flying fish. Okay. Maybe quite frankly can host a clam bake. He's an East Coast guy. He's upstate New York. Do they have clam bakes in upstate New York? Please read upcoming eclipse and DJT chart. We'll do that on Sunday night. DJT's in trouble. We talked about that for a while. Saturn going through his 8th house, man, opposing his Neptune. Not good. Not good for the health. Not good for power. Not good. It's going to be a rough time. And then Saturn is going to start to square all of his Cancerian planets. This next year is going to be one of the most difficult and trying years in the life of Donald John Trump. And you thought that the lawfare was rough. This next year is going to be very difficult. Let's see who else we have here. Would everyone please be lovely, hit the like button. Thank you, Pixie. I've come to the conclusion that YouTube is really fucking with me. Really, really fucking with me now. The comments thing has been off the hook weird. Comments are turned off. People's comments are deleted. They have to go back. I mean, it is. I went to yesterday's video and I said there's no description for this show. Like, you got to be kidding me. No, I wrote a description for the show, and now I'm convinced that my views are being fucked with. You know, I've got 1,000 views easily on Rumble and about maybe 10 comments. And over here, I'll have 1,100 views and 30 comments. Oh, here you are. Your buddy's here. Yeah, your buddy's here. You see him? He's right over there. He's waiting for you. There we go. The pine at the glass has begun. Yes. This is like a tragic love affair in some ways. It's separated by a pane of glass. Who knows what kind of cat merriment these two could experience. This pane of glass was not between them. Scrubbies is here. Hi, Scrubbies. Shaman's prediction: health issues this year. That's my prediction. I've been talking about that for a while. Saturn Neptune opposition. That's a heavy transit, especially in the 8th house, and also a test of his power. People are going to test his power. We can enjoy clam bacon ups. I'll bring that up with Frank. Me and Frank, we're like that. Mr. Gray, no more X is now demanding proof of age for sensitive material, most of which is perfectly mundane. They just want your ID. This is the new thing, isn't it, Mr. Gray? Go to Bill's home opener. I need an invitation. Come on, Bill's Mafia. I need an invitation. The Yagos are all jacked up. That's what it is, man. It's like, I have to take it as a compliment. Scrubbies is doing the name check. There's your buddy. There he goes. He's leaving. He's off on other stops. Probably has people feeding him along the way. Did I miss anybody? Carolyn Wallace. Hi, Carolyn Wallace. One Bill Smith is back. YouTube hates the truth. They do. Habits freckled. PA is in jail. Yeah, apparently. What a walk of shame that is, huh? Total walk of shame. Facebook guy on trial. Did you hear about that? I think I did hear about that, actually. There's a lot going on. A lot going on out there. Some accounts are saying that 3-3 will be this end. That day 3-3 will be this end. The end of what? The end of Trump. I am from Catalina Island, born and raised in the Flying Fishes. Oh, okay. Thank you for filling that in. Born and raised on Catalina. Wow. That's a rarity. Marilyn Monroe lived on Catalina. She was married to some army dude on Catalina. Probably where she got her programming. I love Catalina, though. It's a cool place. I've been there. Rode a golf cart around the island. Let's see. Did I leave anybody out? I should start talking about astrology, shouldn't I? For all the new people. The end of DJT. Yeah, I think that's maybe when Saturn goes in direct opposition with Neptune. I mean, people ask me, like, can you see death in a chart? That transit is perilous. Let me tell you, it is perilous. Is it the end of his mortal coil? Maybe. He doesn't look good. I can tell you that right now. He does not look good. This is not the Donald Trump of 2016 who was kicking ass and taking names. This guy is barely hanging on. No Astro. Well, we are talking about Donald Trump and his astrology. So it's not completely no Astro. Okay, we're 20 minutes in, and somebody has lovingly reminded us that I need to talk about astrology. All right, let's get to it, shall we? Little chart of the day action. All right. By the way, if you have not seen my show on Rumble, from yesterday, I highly recommend it. Highly, highly, highly Selassie recommend it. And I'm going to be going in today on, the NBA and investments in Israel. This is the link for today's Rumble show, by the way. There's a lot going on, more than I realized. A lot going on. So I'm going to talk about that today as well. There's a link, but check out my show yesterday. I did a thing on Jeffrey Epstein as dark spiritual avatar. And I don't often rewatch my shows, but I rewatched yesterday's show. I have to say, it held up. It held up over the day. So here we go. We're still in this train. Look at this. Look at this. We're still in this inner outer planet train. Saturn, Neptune. Yeah. So I think they're going to do something in Iran. So they had these so-called talks, right? And it started off with, well, we just don't want you to enrich uranium. That's where it started. And then Marco Rubio goes in and says, well, it goes beyond that. We want you to destroy all of your weapons. Every single missile, anything that you could use to defend yourself, we want it destroyed. Now, first of all, if you're Iran, do you really, really, really want to take away the one ability, the one thing that keeps you from being completely run over? And look, I love this country, but we're not really known for, living up to our end of the bargains. It's just, I'm not, most countries are like that. They'll say one thing and they'll do another thing. Let's have a sit down and a little peace talk with Soleimani. Oh, let's assassinate him when his plane lands and he leaves his plane. I mean, yeah, that's the kind of trust that's engendered. So when they come in and say, yeah, everything will just be fine, just get rid of most of your weapons, you'll be. I mean, do you really, really believe that? If you're Iran, now it could be a quote unquote limited strike, like last time. But I don't know. Not with Saturn, Neptune in Aries. That is not a limited strike. And we did Iran's chart the other, what was it? 2 Sundays ago. And there's 2 versions of the chart. They're not that far apart. There's a version on Astro Theme, which is a site that I like. I like Astro Theme. And they have the IC for Iran at 0 Aries. And so I recast the chart using the same coordinates, time, place, etc. And I think I got 4 or 5 Aries for the IC, which doesn't seem like a lot because Saturn will be there lickety split. But there is a dramatic difference between 0 IC with Neptune and Saturn at 0. Do you know what I mean? It's like it's much more dramatic and immediate. And then, of course, the conditions for and with Neptune there, it's probably going to look like, some kind of a naval conflict. Now you've got the Russian ships in there, you got the Chinese ships in there, and they're all doing like their little, war ballet in the Straits of Hormuz. The United States is basically telling Iran that it can't sell oil to the Chinese. And who the fuck is the United States to say that? Right? I mean, this is how Iran has been dealing with, like, all the sanctions, been selling oil to China. No matter what you think of China and the Chinese or the Iranians, they have a right to do what they need to do or want to do. They are countries. Just like we have a right to invade Venezuela, apparently. I'm a little hard on the old U.S. citizen. I love the people. And the people running it are not always my favorite people. Let's just put it that way. So when I look at this chart, I mean, I just can't get this Saturn-Neptune conjunction. But the first time happened in 64,000 years, where they are together at the same degree in the same sign of Aries. Some people are making allusions to this as Atlantean energy and the fall of Atlantis. I could kind of see that, actually. I could definitely see that. When I think of Rome, I think of Aries, right? And Mars, and the Temple of Mars in Rome, and Saturn Neptune conjunction is sort of like the fall of Rome, the fall of the new Rome. And it definitely feels like we're just in such a weird place and time. I'm watching this race between James Tallarico and Jasmine Crockett here in Texas, and it is getting vicious. I mean, absolutely vicious. And apparently the Republicans want Jasmine Crockett to win because it's a primary for the Democrats, and they're running. And if you haven't seen James Tallarico, he's, how would I describe him? He's about as a Republican of a Democrat as you can get. He's like a preacher who believes in abortion. That's what separates. And he believes in immigration, but he comes off sounding like a Republican. It's weird. It's he's got the perfect high range of being and sounding and looking like a multi-generational Texan, and yet coming off like he's a Californian. It's weird. So they have been going at it, these two, and just so apparently James Tallarico was on with Stephen Colbert for about 90 minutes. Like, I mean, that's really weird when you have a guy who's running for Congress in Texas, on with Stephen Colbert for like 90 minutes. And so the Trump administration came in and basically told Colbert, you can't run that interview because if you do, you're in violation of like equal time and you have to interview Jasmine Crockett. So the interview went straight to YouTube, got millions of views, more views on YouTube than it would have gotten on Stephen Colbert's show, which is nobody fucking watches it. So by doing that, it made it more popular, and Tallarico wound up getting more money. And the reason they did that is because they want Jasmine Crockett to win, so that whoever faces off against her, whether it's Ken Paxton or John Cornyn, can beat her. Because they believe that they'll have a much harder time beating James Tallarico, and they may be right. And so, again, this is like Saturn, Saturn-Neptune stuff. Like, who's the bad guy? Who's the good guy? What constitutes victory? Because Aries is all about victory and winning, right? There's no other substitute or option with Aries. With Libra, there's negotiation and peace and finding compromise. There's no compromise with Aries. Takes no quarter. Right? Remember that. We're in a period of time where there is no quarter being taken. It will get even more Spartan, shall we say, when Saturn moves past Neptune. And it's Saturn, right? Because right now, Neptune, which is in front, is obscuring the actions of Saturn, right? So things happen under strange pretenses. But once Saturn, it's like the mask comes off, right? The mask comes off once Saturn moves past Neptune. So we're kind of in the final days of the mask, right? And that is across all these different sectors, governmental, military, and even in private lives. Like people's masks come off. You begin to see who people really are. And sometimes it's not a bad thing. You take the mask off and you're like, oh, well, that's an interesting face. It's consistent with the one that you were wearing before, but sometimes it's not. Sometimes it's not. One time I was at the Oakland Civic Auditorium, Henry J. Kaiser Center. It was Halloween night. I believe the year was 1980, if I'm not mistaken, 80 or 81. And we used to get mushrooms from this guy. And they were the best looking mushrooms. You know what I mean? Like blue veins running through them. Like they couldn't have been more beautiful, these mushrooms. But they always gave me a weird trip. Right. And I would go back and say, well, maybe that was just that one batch. And usually back in the day when I did that stuff, I mean, that was always like a vacation. But not these mushrooms. They always made things a little weird. Like, I don't know what differentiated this batch of psilocybe cubensis, but it was different. So we're partaking of these mushrooms, and we go to the Henry J. Kaiser Center, and I'm starting to have kind of a bad trip, and it's Halloween night, and we're there to see Iggy Pop and the Police, and I'm like really psyched to see the fucking Police. I saw Iggy Pop, loud, raucous, good band. I mean, if you like Iggy Pop. But I'm starting to have a real hard time being around people. And the Henry J. Kaiser's, it's an old auditorium. And it's a lot of ramps, right? So if you wanted to get up and get into the nosebleed seats, which eventually we went to, I was like, I just got to get away from these people. Let's just go up to the nosebleeds. We stopped along the way, and my girlfriend went to the bathroom, and I'm waiting outside the bathroom, and there's this guy. I know this happened. And I'm kind of white knuckling a little bit. And this guy's got his back turned towards me, and he's got his arms in the air, and he's laughing like a madman. And I'm like, oh, fuck, what's going on here? And he turns around and he looks at me, and he continues this madman laughter, and he's got a mask on, right? And he's laughing through this mask. And then he pulls the mask off, and underneath his mask is a painted face. Like he's got a mask beneath the mask. And I lost my shit. I was like, okay, let's go to the nosebleeds and let's just try to get away from this. So I'm telling you this story, right? Because sometimes when the mask comes off, people have another mask. And we all wear masks. I've got my astrological weather mask on today. Later on today, I'll put on my personal reading mask. It's just, it is. It's like a hat. I've got my Cleveland Indians hat on today. And there's this very interesting theory about masks. And there's like David Bowie was always putting masks on. And then there's this moment when, like with Serious Moonlight, and like the mask comes off. But then you realize it's just another mask. That says, hey, I'm healthy and, wearing J. Crew, and this is my new mask. So keep that in mind. The masks are off and the gloves are off. Right now, the gloves are kind of on with a Neptune-Saturn conjunction. When Saturn moves past Neptune, gloves are off. And the world will be a bit of a difficult place. It's just the nature of the transit. Now, if you want to test yourself, right, Saturn Neptune transit, not a bad thing, because we'll probably all be tested anyway. What's the saying? Iron forges iron, right? And if we go into a limited conflict or war situation, we will be tested. I guarantee you it will not be business as usual, especially if they break off the Straits of Hormuz and there's more issues with oil. What's the upside? The upside is you get to see what you're made of. All of us. I also feel like, once Saturn moves past Neptune, it feels kind of dog eat dog. You know what I mean? It's sort of like, I'm going to get mine. I'm going to get mine. Screw everybody else. That's what it feels like. Instead of now with Neptune and Saturn, there's kind of an energy where we're all in it together. But that changes. Let's see. The moon is right at the edge of Pisces, so we're still in that Piscean moon. It's still new, and then moves into Aries. So this moon will be in Aries by the end of the day. So we'll have a moon, Saturn, Neptune conjunction. Feels very warlike. Tensions are high. In your personal life, tensions, I think, can get quite intense. A lot of passion around the Aries moon. But where do you put it? Where do you put the passion? Saturn? Moon Saturn conjunctions? Man, those are rough. Especially in Aries. It's a lot of grinding, a lot of frustrating, a lot of gnashing of teeth. Moon Neptune conjunction, you're looking around for somebody who feels your pain, or people are looking at you saying, do you feel my pain? Kind of a toothache day today, by the way. Yeah, like the next 24 hours are going to be interesting, to say the least. And of course, we have News Dump Friday coming up with Moon Saturn. By that time tomorrow, the moon will be around 10, 9, 10 Aries. And then there's all this Pisces behind the firewall, urging compassion. Oh, I know your friend is gone. And the sun is at 0 Pisces. We're in Pisces season. We're at the end of the astrological calendar, boys and girls. We are on our way through the last sign. And with Pisces, it's always a good practice to be a little more kind, a little more compassionate, a little more empathetic. But with all these Aries planets, Mars squaring Uranus, all those qualities are tested. And it almost feels like if you are exhibiting those traits, it almost feels like a weakness. But don't let that dissuade you. Right? Don't let it dissuade you. You also don't want to be a doormat, because it really feels like this is one of those times astrologically where people could just stomp on you. If you're the one that's being kind and unconditional and compassionate and empathetic. It's like, why am I doing this? Nobody else around me is doing this. They're all running off to get toilet paper, knocking people over to get it. I'm supposed to be the one that remembers their humanity. So these are really interesting, really interesting aspects. Because we're at the end of a cycle. Literally, we're at the end of a cycle. And just like as I mentioned before, when all those Capricorn planets went through Pluto, and that was right around the same time that the Epstein stuff started to pop, all these other planets are going to have to go through Saturn, Neptune, aren't they? Beginning with the moon, Venus will be there, Mercury will be there. Eventually, come the 22nd, 23rd of March, the sun will be there. Mars will catch up. All these planets are going to go through Saturn, Neptune. And it is like a fiery baptism. It feels like there's nowhere to run, nowhere to hide. Everything is raw, naked, exposed. And if you're ready for it, right? If you're ready to get your spiritual warrior game on. I think there are cruel days ahead. So soak this in while you can, right? Venus, Sun, Mercury, even the True Node and Pallas. It's like you're at the watering hole in the desert, and you're about to go on a very long journey, and you're riding a camel. Let that camel soak up as much water as possible. Of course, you're the camel. Hydration is so. By the way, if you don't have a reasonable supply of water on hand for times of emergency, you need to start to figure that out. I'm just saying, because this summer is we're gonna experience drought-like conditions this summer. There's not, with the exception of Jupiter. Jupiter moves into Leo. Like there's going to be no water. There's no water. This is it. This is it with Pisces. Once all these planets move through Pisces and get to Aries and beyond, there's no water. Maybe we'll have a bit of a respite with Cancer, maybe some flash flooding because everything's been so dry. But this is going to be a droughty summer. So make sure you have a nice stash of water last you a couple of weeks. All right, let's get into our star of the day. I think that was a pretty thorough astro weather, don't you think? So our friend, I got to go to his website. Our friend Chris has some new products, which I should probably tell you about. Let's go to his website. He has a new daytime gummy. And, oh, this is great. Check this out. It's a good thing I came here. So this is a slideshow. Of course, these are his tinctures. Nanocannabinoid tonics. Highly bioavailable nano blends. It means they get into your cells. And you look at that, you're going to get $10 off your first order. Look at that. This is what I was talking about. Minerals for vitality. You have bioactive silica. Let me do that again. Ocean minerals. I got to get some of that. I need some ocean minerals. The Best of Austin Fit 2025. You got your gummies, you got your tinctures and oils, water-based tonics, and pet sounds for your pets. Look at that. So $10 off your first order. And if you type in 15MINS, you will get a gummy, you'll get a goodie bag. And I'm assuming that gummies will be in there. He's got some new gummies. Let me see if I can find it. Here we go. What's the new gummy? Twilight Astronautica. I'm not sure if it's out yet. But there you go. Twilight for your sleep. Restful sleep balance formulation. He's got these gummies and tinctures. He's got them down to a science. Anyway, all you got to do is go to truehempscience.com, spend $100 or more, and you're $10 off your first order. So you're already getting $10 off. And you're getting a goodie bag. 15MINS, that's your code. All right, let's get to our True Hemp Science story of the day. A very interesting one. Very interesting. Today's True Hemp Science story of the day is Karen Silkwood. That is the car that Karen Silkwood was driving. Can you say totaled? Can you say dead? So Karen Silkwood was a whistleblower, and she worked at a nuclear power processing plant in Oklahoma. And her job was to process these plutonium pellets. And look at where Pluto is in her chart. It's in the 10th house. Talk about symbolic, right? Like Pluto, plutonium, Pluto, death. And she has this inconjunct with Pluto right up here at, let me just zoom in on this a little bit for everybody, including yours truly. Pluto's at 10, and she's got Mercury at 8, right? And that's the whistleblower. Right? Mercury is the whistleblower. And that's what she was doing. She was getting toxicology reports and found that she had plutonium in her blood and was suffering from plutonium poisoning. And of course, she became famous because there was a movie about her called Silkwood, where Meryl Streep portrayed her. And she has Saturn and Mars in Cancer on her midheaven. And there's something about, and I'm not saying she's a victim by any stretch. Like, this was a very brave woman. Saturn Mars conjunction, you got to have some stones, right? Like, compelled. You're compelled to follow a path of truth, because those are in the 9th house, right? That's Sagittarius house. But we have squares going on with Neptune and the moon. And to me, like, the Neptune square in this case almost represents a canonization of Karen Silkwood. You know, like how saints are sacrificed and martyred. And she's got martyr energy. That Mars-Neptune square, especially that placement, that's martyr energy. And there are people who believe that she was killed. Right? This accident was a result of corporate foul play. She had kind of a hard life. Like, her marriages didn't go very well. You can sort of see that with the Venus-Uranus square. It's difficult. You know, she just wanted a peaceful life, right? Just a peaceful life with all those planets in the 5th house, peaceful love, peaceful life. And Uranus doesn't let that happen. You know, so her marriage, home life, a little tempestuous. And I think it's interesting also that she's a Libra rising. And, you know, Libra on the ascendant or Libra in general is, kind of about justice and, balancing the scales of justice. And she's got Chiron conjunct her ascendant in Libra. Chiron on the ascendant, you will stand out. It is if you have Chiron on your ascendant or Chiron in the first house, you get to figure out what it's like to feel alienated. And your lifetime lesson is about self-love and being okay with the fact that you're different. And for me, Chiron always represents a risk of sorts. And you can see this in her chart. Like, she was risking a lot to come forward and just talk about what was going on in this plant. And it was happening during a time where the whole nuclear and atomic industry was really under a microscope, right? Like, we had 3 Mile Island, sort of time adjacent, Chernobyl, sort of a bit time adjacent, maybe a little bit after. You had the No Nukes concert with, all those people, Bonnie Raitt, Dan Fogelberg. Neil Young was up. Neil Young likes nukes. He did an album called Reactor. So we need more nuclear reactors. But you can see with all that Libra in the first house, she was all about balancing the scales of justice. Paid a price for it. Look at that car. Look at that car. That is, what was I looking at with that car? Yeah, that's like Mars too, right? Like, Mars is the chariot. And the Neptune square, that to me, that's like foul play. Again, remember we're talking about how Neptune sort of occludes things, makes it difficult to, try to understand what the cause of something is, what's behind it, what's behind the veil. This woman paid a price, clearly. But she was fucking brave. This woman had some stones. I just think it's so, even like with Uranus and uranium, over in the 8th house in secrets, but it's plutonium, right? And it's part of her yod. Pluto, Neptune sextile, Yadnoff. Yadnoff against Mercury. And that is the whistleblower, right there. So there you go. The late Karen Silkwood, memorialized by one Meryl Streep. I guess if you're going to live your life and die for a cause, I suppose having Meryl Streep portray you in memoriam is kind of a feat unto itself. There's a bit of immortality there in some ways. Lives on forever. Meryl Streep, celluloid hero. All right, or celluloid heroine. That'll do it for today's show. The link for 15 minutes is in the chat box. I also left a link in the show description as well. And as long as YouTube hasn't messed with it, it's probably still there. And because of this tricky situation with YouTube, if you have already subscribed, please go back and make sure you're still subscribed, because that happens. People get unsubscribed. And hit the notification bell so that you know when I go live. And I try to go live at the same time for every show. But there are times when I am running a bit late, like maybe on a Sunday night. So it's good to get that bell and to let you know, hey, he's going to be on in a half an hour. So do those things. Make sure you stay subscribed and up to the moment. All right, everybody, have a great day. Have a blessed day. It's already starting off to be a good one. Chacharia, you're the best. Love you all. Take care. And here's the outro. Ready for the outro? We got the outro. We'll see you over on 15. Bye for now.
Uno, dos, tres, cuatro, cinco, seis, siete, ocho,